work on. Um, I've got a noxious bright blight bringer. Some champion dude needs a little fixing up. Got a sorcerer. I have a doggo, that being Beast and Nurgle, and a why can I never remember the name of this thing at this hour? Not a Myphitic Blight Hauler. Fetid Bloat Drone to do. This guy's pretty beat up, so I think I think it's part of his priming coat is going to be a bunch of basing material. And I also have these guys that are actually ready to get dunked in some sort of. These guys, right? Yeah. These Poxwalkers, which I'm sort of tilting towards. Maybe I'm going to hit them with a rusty grime. We'll see. Lots to do. Lots to do. Lots to do. I'm going to clear out a little space in front of my fan. Stuff's going to end up over there. Actually, you know what? It may make sense for me to right out the gate work on those Poxwalkers. Good to see you, Sectrix. How are you doing, buddy? You can hide over there. These guys can hide over here. Make a little space for a plate full of good stuff. 29.5 Poxwalkers. I'm proud of you, man. Proud of you. That is no small feat. But they do build pretty quick. Now building, yeah, 7 Plague Marines. They get some fun bits there. Let me grab this plate of dudes. It's getting dunked. Pull out a few of the enamel washes that I've got. The grimes. Down rust. This is Slimy Grime Dark. I got another weird one over here. Dark Streaking Grime. Don't even know what that is. So I got some dark stuff. It was so much fun that it made me pause on Tau. It's good that you had something in there that was like a good thing to have a break. Yeah, Death Guard are. I mean, obviously I'm super biased, but I find them to be a heck of a lot of fun to paint. There's I mean, going through Poxwalkers, yes, there'll be some repetition, but it's not as repetitious as one might think. Yeah, I think these guys are going to get dunked. Not physically dunked. I'm going to use a brush. But I got to decide between Slimy Grime Light, which it's crazy. Like, this stuff totally. I'm going to have to shake the daylights out of it. It's like that color, which I might actually go. This is a front runner. I might just fully rust them. Hey, cabled. Some sort of like dirty brown. I think this might be Slimy Grime Dark. And then this one that's like Dark Streaking Grime. I don't know. I might roll a die. Might have to figure it out. I might do them differently, but I don't think I will. Embrace gross, forego greater good. Wise words. Wise words. Huge projects need little breaks in there. And, you know, think about how different it is to find yourself in plague territory after, like, arguably one of the cleanest factions, paint style wise. It's good. It's a shifting of gears. I am going to do all these guys. to save one of these. I mean, this is like super light and like super greeny. I think I'm gonna go with it because I don't think I've ever thoroughly used this. I've only ever used this to temper Slimy Grime Dark. Someday I'll use this stuff. It's almost like a blue green. Deep green. I do know at some point I'm going to do some amount. Maybe the Battle Force I'll do all rusty. Because at that point I'll be duping a lot of my stuff. Suck my drones. What a phrase. What a phrase. Slap on some latex. Keep things nice and safe. Ventilation's okay. Scoops that over there. Everything's shaking on this desk. I love this thing so much. All right. So what I'm gonna do, man, I love having tiny little metal dishes lying around. Like, these things are great. The end of the depth is is a masterwork of good wording, of wordsmithing. Yeah, Will today was working on building out the repo of that and like figuring out if we want to go with the newer version of Unity and get all of its. Oh my god, this stuff is. Look at how green that is. Oh, you poor guys, you are in for it. I'm not going to darken it up at all. I'm going to use this stuff fair and square. Yeesh. See if I've got wipey things out. I should probably get a few more things out to be prepared. It is too green. It is too green. But that said, like, this is getting, a lot of this is getting wiped off. A lot of it's getting wiped off. It'll be a much lighter color. I could take a couple drops of this, of Slimy Grime Dark, and throw it in there. Don't think I want to do that. I feel like all it takes for you to use something is to know that others don't. There's a lot of things that I will use that specifically I don't think you'll use. That's not why I use them, but I do think there is like something to what you're saying. Maybe a little temperance. A little temperance, probably not bad. I'll let you modulate this a little bit. It's cool. I'm not stubborn. It is wicked green. Moth uses it. Oh my god, this thing, so good for that fetid bloat drone. It's got like the hanging gun. And it needs to be like glued and then hang underneath. Being able to set that arm up so it could just extend out a little bit more of this stuff and hold the tip of that arm up while it dried. Absolutely brilliant. All right, a little bit of darkness in there. I have the Citadel mold line cleaning tool. Still like it. Oh yeah, it's enamel time. All right, we're going to flavor country. Let's see if I've got an appropriate beater brush over here. I don't know, but I do have a dry brush I haven't seen in ages. Yeah, I do have an appropriate beater brush. Well, so the reason I went with this much is because I I uh I wasn't watching how many drops. I was watching how much I squeegeed out of that little eyedropper because I was paying attention to how much went out of and it was not in drops. Yeah, see, that's tempering it a little bit. It's not quite as neon. I'm not going to mix it fully. I'll just do the swirly brownies thing. I don't know. You'll note, and it is with some intent. This guy does not have pauldrons. That's gonna look good. That's gonna look good. Um, I don't know that there is a way to get the other part of it. I think that sprue has that from like some age of your box that does not exist anymore. And that's that. Kind of funky, huh? I'm not really too worried if I accidentally drip some of this on one of the guys below here. It's no biggie. It's no biggie, baby. You're all getting dunked. You know what? I am going to put this dish on the plate for now. I'm starting to spill on my mat. Still quite green. But green that guy is. It's not easy being green. So I'm told. Tell myself in my own Kermit voice. Chosen of Mortarian sprues. Good. I should have known. Should have known Moth would know the exact. Here's the question, Moth. Do you know what the numbers of the parts are on that said sprue? That's the big question. I am not surprised though that you knew what kit it came from. You have a very good Rolodex in your head of the different kit makeups. I'm always impressed by that. Oh, that's true. Like, go the STL route. You find that thing. I'm gonna crack the window open a little bit more before I get totally fogged out. Crack the window open a little bit more. Maybe that's a sign. I got to get this whole guy enameled up. Oh, so grimy. Just laying it on. The first time I used this stuff, I was so ginger about it. It was on my night. And I was just like, drip, 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 drip. And wiping most of it off. Look at me now, mother. They're not bad. I mean, I have an air conditioner in the window across the room. Though I think I'm going to turn it on a little harder, heavier. I can smell it. That's definitely a thing. But I think I just need to crack the window open a little bit more over on this side. I do have a cross breeze. I think it just needs to be cross breezier. BRB. Can hear the rattliness of this window. I think I want to give these guys about 15 minutes to dry a little bit. Might give them a dab more. I'm laying this stuff on pretty gangster right now. Swimming. This guy's got plenty of awesome pock marks. Just soak up that grime. This way, look at him that way. He's good and soaked, except for his gun on the back. I knew there was some little spot in here that was hiding. There we go. This is such a lazy brush. So freaking long with the bristles. Very much was never its intent in life to be used for such disgusting things. Probably made to draw long, elegant strokes of calligraphy. Instead, it's a beater brush, dropping grime, doing crimes. Blade inside of the gun. Outside of the gun's fine. That's 4. Stroke is measured, clearly. Whole thing's getting grimed. Well, I mean, it's a lot of it is just how much you choose to take off the thing, but there's a couple steps after I remove the grime that I've got to do. So, one, anything that's glowy is getting done after the grime, and anything that is like additional corrosion or rot, I'm going to do after the grime. So, grime, this is obviously buckets of it on here right now, but a ton of that gets wiped off. But it leaves you with, all those recesses, and like if you wipe gently, it's like a filter. But like this plasma gun, all this stuff in here, I'm gonna do afterwards. I'm gonna white ink it, give it whatever glow it's going to have, so that it pops through out over all the gramminess. Like, in theory, I legit could have dunked these guys and that would be fine. It's fun stuff. Definitely fun stuff. But I was absolutely too gentle with it the first time I used it. I've also got to dig in here because this stuff's got a little bit gritty material in it, gives some texture. But I may use the like same core paint job and do another round of these guys rusted, just like streaking rust the daylights out of them. See how that looks. My orange buddies. I sort of feel like an orange crew is a nice to have for my Death Guard. So I may just take the whole battle force, do it that way, or maybe just a couple models. We'll see. Figure that out when I get there, but I can absolutely do it with like another unit of Plague Marines. I don't know about the Lord of Poxes making him all corroded, but I know I'd love to do it with a Plague Burst Crawler. And I think I'd love to do it with, do that paint scheme with whatchamacallit, Blightlord Terminators would be fun too. Boop, boop, boop. Couple more dots. I think there's a couple little spots on there I missed. Boop. Maybe it's just how the lights hit them. Who knows? Sector is Halloweenus. Yeah, it is a little wild, like essentially like 3/4 of the way painting the entire model and then just glopping the whole thing indiscriminately. Takes a little bit of stomach gumption. Gotta get your humors in the right place. There's an entire element of like, did I just F up this whole thing? And it's possible, but I'm pretty sure it works. I have a reasonable degree of confidence that everything's going to be okay. And my green boys are going to be green, but not this green. Or not this much green. All right. How do we clean this exactly? I don't remember, but I'm going to use some isopropyl and hope that that works. I guess it could be neutral spirit. White spirits is what I'm going to end up pouring on to clean them, so something to that. Just soak up a little bit of this garbage. Green glop. Fume. Yep, that does it. Try to grab a little dab more. Pour it out from a homie. By my homie, I mean the brush. Keep this guy set aside for further terror missions. Yeah, you can see it starting to cloud in there a little bit. That's good. I did varnish these models before doing this because they do have wax on them, and you use, lo and behold, White Spirit. Clean your brush when you're waxing. I was a little bit safe this time, which is good. All right. That guy's relatively clean. That thing. Reverse it. Set these guys over here to dry a bit. Now I can work on some interim stuff. Mark the time. So yeah, sometime around like 10 after 9. Probably get that stuff popping. For my next trick, I'm going to add a pile of texture and perhaps, arguably, some structural soundness to my blight drone. This guy's super rickety, got gaps. I've always wanted to do this sort of pre-treatment on something, make it just like absolutely covered. So maybe this guy will get a heaping pile of rust on him, so that'll make sense there. But I'm basically going to thin down some basing terrain glop, paint a bunch of it on this guy. So it's going to have that like very bloated, corroded jam going. This is absolutely like a one-way trip for a brush for sure. Where my cheapies at? I don't know. This thing could survive. You could do it, brush. Could happen. I'm not betting on it. Get yourself some absolutely. Yeah, this drone has seen some things, and you're gonna see a heck of a lot more. Good to see you, Chaos and Lead. Speaking of seeing things. Oof. There we go. Nice healthy glop of this brownie mix. What I'm going to do is plop some amount of water in here, but once again, I'm not going to perfectly stir everything up. I'm not going to do it. I'm allowed to have some spots in here that super watery and some aren't, so I can, with the brush, paint some mahogany. That's pretty cool. All right, so now it's got some water in there, but I keep it in an area that is like relatively thick when I gotta slop the stuff, relatively thin when I don't. So a lot of this can get pulled in here, but not all of it. I'll leave some up on the side there. I might need a little bit more. That was a lot of water. What gun should you give Plague Marines? Oh, brother. This is kind of a long talk. So, Plague Bolters are, like, not bad, but they're bolters. Like, they're very, very kind of normal Plague Marine weapons. Not a whole heck of a lot that's special about them. A lot of people don't like them because the options don't cost anything. I personally think that both aesthetically and tactically, mixing the weapons up a lot is a good idea. It's a little bit of a pain to play until you get used to it because you're like, wow. I mean, you could easily make a 7-man squad where like everyone has. Yeah, so the one that the drone that I got out the box and I attached a wall to it so it'd be a little bit safer. Um, that guy's outside and doing just fine. This guy is the rescue and he's a hot mess. Um, I'm glopping him up. So, like, you absolutely want Plague Marine that's got the flail. You want one that's got the big cleaver. You probably want one or two that have the big, like, glop throwing, the equivalent of a flamethrower, but it's like a spewer. I don't know if there's any point of taking a melted guy. It's not that cool. Um, I think you can get a plasma on the champ, like the champion version, the one guy who's like nominally in charge, the boss knob um, of the unit. But definitely make sure you take like a couple of the special melees. I like the Blight Launcher, which is like it looks like a grenade launcher. Combat Patrol build for the old box. I don't remember. It's too long ago for me to. Moth knows. I think you want variety. I think it's the spice of life with that unit. They get access to a lot of really. The sculpts are really cool. Like having a flail guy is like very nice. Having a big meat cleaver guy is like deeply iconic, and those are the two really good melee weapons. So having a couple of those in there, it's like I don't think you want to deny yourself that joy. Oh, yeah, give this guy crazy like hooded eye. And then a spewer, blight launcher. What does fabulous mean? Good to see you, FTP. But with a good mix, essentially, you can use them for a variety of things, obviously. But I find that like getting some good pot shots in from far away, being able to overwatch if you need to, pretty good. Um, and then having a couple really heavy hitters for when you finally get into melee is nice. They're a good mixed unit. Like it's interesting not specializing them. It's kind of a pain to get through all your rolls, but yeah, there's the smaller spray thing, the bigger spray thing, the grenade launchery seeming thing, and then everybody else's bolters. But I mean, the nice thing is, and people do overlook it, like even their plague bolters, like they've got lethal hits on them, and so like you're wounding more often than you should, which is nice. Yeah, let's get some glop right there. Oh, buddy. So nice and textured. Yeah, the champ I believe the champ can actually take a straight up plasma rifle too. I think could opt for that. That champ. Let's go around a little bit. Yeah, I can get a little sloppier over here. Oh, this guy's just going to be Captain Filth. And all of this, like, basic material stuff just gobbles up dry brush friction. The champion, depending on how you put them together, is often like fist plus plasma pistol. I think you can just plasma rifle him if you want. Now I'm really adding this stuff with a lot of wetness to it. Get some natural drippiness, a little bit of volume out of it. Oh, you know it's dope? I think one of these is on backwards. Interesting. All right. It's so much sludge. Yeah, I think I gave one of my champs a plasma rifle before I knew what I was doing. Not that a plasma rifle's bad. I'm certainly not saying that. I was just like, I think it might have been the very first set that I did, and I was just like, this gun look cool. But you can absolutely get into melee and slap around. All right, so look at that. Look how gross that guy is. When this dries up, this lad will be in fine shape to start putting some base coats on. I'm just gonna here. Hey, what's up, Sharp? We're making a mess. Let's have a ship. How much time do I have? I still got time, so I can at least start base coating a little bit. I think I'm going to use a dry brush again for the Nurgle boy. I'm going to try something a little bluer, but not crazy. I'm going to try desaturated cool greens, medieval forest on this guy. And a little bit of blueness. Just to see how it looks. Make use of my colors. What brush do I want to use? What brush? What brush? This one's probably fine. Oh yeah, this guy's good. Finger in some water, give it a quick dab on the paper towel. Just roll the brush around in it a little bit just to get those bristles a little bit wet before we start. This will be heavy, but it's intentional. And then I'll do something purpley or pinkish on the wonderful head of hair this thing has. I think the second pseudo dry brushing this thing gets is going to be something like sickly yellow. See how those mix together? Get unsettling. Expand my color horizons. Squeegee in there where needed. Look at it from a variety of angles. Essentially, your first pass. Goblin bedtime. Never know if someone's going to make it back from that trip. Risky. Gotta bring a tranquilizer rifle. Never know what version of the kids you'll get. So my wife and I sort of realized I think we screwed up. Which, you know, as a parent, you do screw up. It's better to admit it than imagine you're doing a phenomenal job all the time. But in recent months, many recent months, it's been hard to get our kids to bed. I realized that when we moved, we used to have this thing called a Miku sitting up on the wall in the old place. It's a camera. But one of the other things it does, it's very easy to play music from it. In fact, it's got a bunch of lullabies in there. And there was not a consistent way, and their terms of service got weird. When we moved here, we only had it up for a couple months. And it got annoying, so we just pulled the thing down. We're like, F it, we don't really need a camera in there. The place is already mic'd up. The lack of music may have been hurting one or both of my kids' ability to fall asleep consistently. Oops. So there's that. So I got a little, USB powered nightlight slash white noise slash. It's got a few lullabies in it. I hooked it up last night and it went right to sleep. Fuck. What a dick. I can go pretty darn dark on these tentacles and then lighten them up. I may want to do that. Go Bugman's Glow. It's a classic. It's in here somewhere. Haven't used it in ages. Bugman's Glow. Like a decent red but feverishly fleshy base. You pivot off of it with like reds and purples pretty nicely. Yeah, let's clean this brush. So this time around, for the hair, it's going to be quite wet. Kind of need it to be. There's a lot of crevasses. My mother used a surefire method. I think I know where this is going. When I didn't sleep, yes, I would get spanked and cry myself to sleep. Worked every time, just throwing it out there. Yeah, I mean, with all due respect to your mother, I'm not. I mean, you say it worked, but like I've never spanked my kids, and me and my wife say all the time, like, this would be a lot easier if we just beat the shit out of our kids. Like, we get it. We get why you do it. But, like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it yields better results. I don't know. Like, I mean, there's the whole, like, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. I just mean in terms of, like, gaining compliance. Purely from a managerial perspective, I would not have to converse with my children quite so much or quite so many times if the fear of God was in them that a beating could show up. That's my only point. Like, but that said, like, oh yeah, this stuff is like mad fleshy. You know, it takes a lot out of all participants. Wasdaka red. Maybe these will be red. I'm okay with being ignored a bit. Not a ton. But oops, that's a horn. I feel like the fallout from the crying is an amount of time that you just have to, that you're just sitting there like waiting for the kid to stop crying. Yeah, they have to hope they don't grow up to resent you for it. Yeah, exactly. But I wonder if it's like, all right, I get it, this cathartic getting it out of my system by spanking my kids. You still gotta wait for them to stop crying. Like, it's not a one and done situation. It's not a silver bullet. And now I got to walk around constantly like raising my hand up like with the spanking threat. I just don't know. I'm just too old and tired to even bother. I'm also just morbidly curious. Like, I don't know. Everyone I know that got spanked, and I got spanked a few times when I was little. More than a few times. I don't know that it actually corrected my behavior all that much because like I got spanked for the same thing multiple times. So like what good did it actually do? Don't know. I never required a spanking from my father, only from my mother. So I wonder how much the spanking was more about her being frustrated than anything else. God bless her. I know it was frustrating raising me. But I feel like if I spanked my kids, I'd be like, yes, I solved the problem. And then I'd be like, I'd have to convince myself. I'd have to do some amount of suspension of disbelief when they did the bad thing again. Because I'm pretty sure they would just do it again. I think little kids are just knuckleheaded. And they are testing your bounds. Like, that's for sure. Like, both of them do flex. I also just kind of appreciate a good flex, but one of them does it way more than the other. I need a smaller brush. Tiny brush time. There we go. Get into those little crevoushes. Like, I'm pretty sure my almost 3-year-old will F with me no matter what. I think I deserve it. A good little nugget. I also, though, like, I do not. I think the main thing is I don't want to threaten my kids. I don't like threats. Not that I think they're bad. I just think that they're a sign of like absolute failure. And as soon as you spank, like spanking's all about the threat of spanking, not the spanking itself. So actually, yeah, we were out tonight, out in the backyard, and I told Kira, like, you gotta stay close to me, because she wanders off. Because she doesn't give a fuck about what anyone says. I said, you gotta stay close to me, or you can't be out here with us, because we were going out to look at the plants we planted. And lo and behold, we got some tomatoes coming up, some potatoes, some peas. None of the fennel's coming up yet. Some radishes. And she kept walking off. And I was like, Kira, if you walk off, like, you can't be out here. And she looked right at me, and she like turned on her heels in her most pouty, almost 3-year-old kind of way, and started walking away from me. And I just walked over, picked her up, brought her in the house. I was like, I guess you're done. I don't want to do like a bunch of back and forth ridiculousness over I tell you to behave, you don't. I'd rather just like be like, F it. I guess you're done. But I don't know if she'll even remember that. You never know. Most of what you're doing is just like playing 4D chess with a small human being's future. But most of the people, myself included, who got spanked, like, they just turned the spanking into part of their calculus of what they were going to do. I didn't want to get spanked. But it was going to happen. I don't know. It's weird. Everybody raises their kids differently. Like, I'm not appalled with anyone else that spanks their kids. I just really am like, wonder if it gets you in a weird, sort of backed in a corner state. Man, this hairstyle is wild to work with. Find all these weird. I might even need a tinier brush. Get in there. This is gonna need like some kind of crazy wash. Maybe an ink to just like get into all these little spots. There's no way I was sub-assembling this. No way. Be here for days and days and days. Like my neighbors growing up, man, they were like off the chain crazy. Yeah, that's what I worry about. Is that like, is it this weird like, all right, now we just set the rules of engagement that like behaviors are either spank worthy or not, and that's like really all you're negotiating with your kid on at that point. It's just like, did you do enough to get spanked? I got to keep doing it every time you walk up to that line, and that just kind of feels weird. Sounds weird, but like my neighbor's kids, my buddies growing up, like they got spanked all the time, and they also effed around all the time. Like it absolutely didn't stop them from doing shit. This tongue's gonna need a lot more work. I'm just sort of making my life a little easier by getting some paint on it right now, but I ain't gonna do it. Well, anyway, it's reasonably red up there. That's good. We're getting to that time when I can clean these brushes off and then grab my boys that are all grimed up. Yeah, I mean, so I tell this story a lot, and it is 100% true. My dad never had to hit me. He very lightly dinked me over the top of the head one time, and I dropped a candy bar when he was like one day out of the hospital. That doesn't count. It's not real. He never hit me, but when I was little, I was probably 8 or 9. We were in an old house at that time. I mouthed off to him while we were getting in his truck. I like learned a new word or something, and I was just kind of like, in general, being fresh, as they say. And I normally wasn't like that with my dad at all. And I sat in my side of the truck after he helped me in. He sat down the driver's side, and then he poked me in the meat of this arm with one finger. Poked. My dad has exceedingly strong hands. Left a bruise. But all I did was go boop, and it hurt, and I cried. And he said, "That's what one finger does. Like, don't ever make me use my whole hand." And I never fucked with him again, ever. Um, it didn't have to be some big ritual about like, come over here. It's the humiliation of having your pants pulled down. The spank, spank, spank while I talk. He was just like, my dad was a tired guy who was working 80 hours a week. He was about to drive me somewhere. He's like, cut it out. That's all he ever had to do. Like, I do think there is some back and forth you have with your kids. I've seen too many kids be in that routine. I don't enjoy ruling by fear either. But I do it. I prefer just like shutting things off. Like I have no problem if I shut the TV off and people get like buck wild. It's like whatever. Like I don't negotiate with terrorists. Ain't about it. Let's get this tray out here. Let's see how much I've screwed these models up. All right. Here's the big pile of green. The Green Menace. It's got some yellow crap in it. We're not using that one. This is my one I use for metallics. It's like panning for gold in there. See all that wonderful mica or whatever the hell it is in there that gives you the shine. Oh yeah, business wise, I don't rule by fear at all. I rule by fatherly disappointment. Telling someone this is not your best work is like can be pretty painful. Trying to 3D print. Did I mute? am I in an ad? Trying to 3D print some gold crowns for Mordheim, but my first batch failed. Ugh. I've only had failed prints. I like these things a lot. We'll see how well they work. Got a towel in my lap. Take these guys one by one. Try to clean them up a little bit. Got some wipes. Got some foam. It's definitely not easy being green. Something slightly bigger than this. This thing is mad damp. But we're getting it. It'd be funny if I just take the paint off of this crap. I don't know if this thing's good to use or not, but I'm going to try one. Yeah, you're taking the equipment to the limit. It's true. You do have to upgrade your or replace your funky stuff. I feel like I have better versions of foam things to wipe this stuff off with. I should probably find them. It's gonna take forever today, but it's cool. I wonder if I took some of the metallic off. Ooh, it's possible I did. I had one guy that threatened to fight every day and just eventually don't listen to him. That's the dumb thing. Is like threatening to fire people is just, once again, it's like it comes down to threats. Like if you're threatening people with stuff, you have to do it. Like that's why you shouldn't threaten anyone. Like if you need to fire someone, fire them. If you need to threaten someone to like work, then you've already got like mad problems that you're not going to find your way through. Try one of these guys out. The infamous Q-tip that people tell you not to use. There is a lot of spikiness to get around in here. Tip Mikey, it's good to see you, buddy. We are definitely Q-tipping. Yeah, I think I learned a hard lesson here. I think I gotta be super careful around my metallics. I think I am picking them up a little bit. Even though I varnished them. God, did I varnish these? It'd be funny if I thought I varnished these and I didn't. I was just pressing the undo on a bunch of work. Certainly possible. I think the likelihood that I'm going to have to do some cleanup. Yeah, I mean, maybe that is the thing that my dad actually did. It's like he did cause pain. There was not a warning. There was not a threat about it. He never had to do it again. I think the I think the long speeches from parents about like it's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, and like you don't want me to spank you. It's just like stop talking. Like just do it, and then don't do it, or don't do it at all. Like you're either down with spanking your kids, or you ain't. I'm absolutely taking some of the metal down on these. Yeesh. I might have a problem here, folks. Might be deeply problematic right now. I might have to leave these guys very, very green, which is not the worst thing, but like, I feel like I'm taking paint off. Like just regular old paint. In some spots. Half measures generally don't work. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Do or do not. There is no try. All right, maybe I just need to be a little bit more gentle with these lads. Go back to this thing. It's working. It's a little more precise. Dab some in, and then lift it up. Yeah, I could probably get away with just doing that instead. All is not lost. I'd just be being a little too aggressive with these guys. Yeah, 6'3", 250 farm raised. If he talks to you, you listened. Yeah. And there is a certain amount of space that little kids need to like negotiate learning, like right and wrong and expectations and all that good stuff. So you can neither just straight up expect them to grok everything right out the gate, but you also like you gotta give them a little space to f around a little bit. That looks a little funky. I'm not sure how I feel about this right now. Um, yeah, I mean it's something I'm absolutely like just trying to work through, make sense of, hopefully land in the right place on. Sweet. I gotta write that down. I am likely going to the post office, hopefully Monday. Finally, at long last, take care of all the stuff they gotta mail out. Where is my spreadsheet? Thank you for doing. I'm looking forward to writing a postcard. Very, very, very much so. Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely do that. Get this my sheet of spreads. Do, 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 do. Hide that window. Cowboy's address in it. Bam. Bam. Excellent turn in. I will spend some deep thought on what to say because we've been hanging for quite a while now. It's been a long time, me and you, Mew. A long time. I wonder if I could just dip this stuff in the juice. As I told Moth, I'm generating a list of safe houses slash places I can find when the zombie apocalypse happens with people I trust as far as building a fortress. That's what I'm actually doing. Let's get some fucking spongy things out. I know I got some in here. I know they're hiding in here somewhere. Those are not them. Those are not them. Gotta be all the way down here at the bottom somewhere. I know that's what the heck was that sound? LOL Chaos. Yeah! Thanks a bunch. What a name. Came to the right spot. I'm looking for some of those makeup applicator squishy things that I know are in here somewhere. Those are some sticks. Those are not them. Maybe they're not in here somewhere. God. Oh, I think I have one of them in these buckets. Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, there's one. That's what we're talking about. Aha! Foamy thing. Yes, I will actually before I go into this crazy next step. There we go. Make this a little bigger before I crack it open. Gonna be crazy audio on this. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. Let me crank this thing up. It's gonna be a little wide on here, but that'll do. What a display. Gary. It's my boy right there. What a crew. It's a little squirrel guy in the BFG nuke launcher. Dope orc with a helmet. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Team Rocket. Team Rocket's my jam. That's fantastic. It's really cool to see. I got like, small updates as they were coming in on like a lot of these, and then some of these are older or I just never saw pictures of. But that's a pretty dope shelf. And yes, Blastoise, which I guess would be Blastus, like Tortoise. Voice. I like that dude in the back. Big like rock golem elemental dude. Baller. Owl bear action. What crew? Or crew. Force well represented though. Team Rocket well represented. And an ultramarine for good measure. Love it. Future shows for Warhammer on Amazon. They're making familiar. I think it'd be awesome if they put these really big, strong men like Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall. Yeah, definitely there it is. Primarchs rather than common actors. I've thought about that quite a bit too. Like just like the big, huge guys. Like the guy who played Rictus Erectus in Fury Road. Oh yeah, this stuff is nice. This stuff is super soft. I think I was just using something that was a little too strong. The other model. I think I was poking the thing too hard. Get me some massive actors. They're just huge. Like I think Henry Cavill can play like a space marine. I don't think he's going Primarch. Put like the big show in as Lehman Russ. Make people happy. Oh yeah, no. If Jason Momoa and Jack Black are in it, you're all set. My biggest dick is. You're a little too small for that part, buddy. We're talking about very large actors. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but there we go. Yeah, this is starting to work. I should have just been using one of these from Go. Nice and soft. Yeah, Dwayne. I mean, the thing is, I just don't think he's either grim or dark enough to really fit in. But go back to this guy, clean him up a little bit. But so much has to be done to make whoever is involved look like a massive, wall of meat person. I'd be curious to see how they do it. He's an actor. He just knows his lane. He's a lot more savvy than people give him credit for. I thought he was excellent in Ballers. All right. So green, but not as green as they were before. Jumanji, yeah. He was dope in Moana. He started out as Rocky Maivia, sort of like riffing off of his dad or uncle's. I think it was his dad's legacy, and he was a face, and that flopped. And then he transitioned into being The Rock and being a heel, but it was also in that like Stone Cold Steve Austin era, layered in with some DX stuff where like being a heel wasn't old school Iron Sheik anymore. So he was a heel, but he was still like deeply popular. Father-in-law's legacy, yeah, he's Canadian, sweet. So like he was around in that transition time where being a heel still got a lot of awesome like was starting to get awesome cheers instead of just jeers. Started to redefine. Like I don't think the term heel like is as narrow a distinction as it used to be. And it used to be pretty narrow. It was like you're either Hulk Hogan or the Iron Sheik. Yeah, there were a few guys who sort of walked a weird line. But even back then. All right, so I got to scroll back up because there was a question about what to do next, and I missed it because I was doing stuff. Yeah, Lol Chaos. I've been waiting to start something new since my Drukhari has been a commission project. Was that you painting it as a commission for someone else? Or your last project was commission, and so you didn't paint it, so you got it from someone else? It'd be nice to hobby again, but I don't know what to do. You should do Death Guard. Like, easy answer, but I mean, as far as getting into the hobby again, kind of a broken record, but that's okay to be consistent. I'd find a kill team that looks cool. Give that a shot. Because it's a very low barrier for entry for like a new faction of units to see if you like the style. And gets you in it to win it with a pretty wide variety of sculpts. All the kill teams are like interesting sculpts. I'm not saying they're the best of any faction, but as far as getting your hands on like a small handful of models where there's no throwaway sculpts in there, it's a good way to go. Like if you got either one of the orc kill teams, if you'd never done orcs before, you're not buying so much that you're like, oh snap, I made a mistake. I don't really love these orcs. It's like 10 models maybe. It's like 12 because it's got like, one of them has a couple little dudes with them. But it's definitely enough for you to be like, oh, that was really cool. I want more of these. The Death Guard one that's out now is fantastic because it's like some of the coolest sculpts they've ever done. They finally just put them in a box and let people buy them instead of having random pick them. That's cool. Start hiding these guys over there. The Night Lords kill team is full of just bizarre, awesome sculpts. Good way to go. Yeah, back before Mysterio dropped out and then came back because he got his unmasked. Yeah, and his kid is like a big deal now, too. So John Cena like finally turned heel like a month or two ago. Wild style. Sharp, your dad grew up with Rocky Johnson? That's crazy. His kid doesn't, so that's a part of it. His kid does look like Eddie Guerrero. And there was that whole storyline of like who's the dad, or like is he gonna get like adopted out of the Mysterio family when he was real little. And he's very much like playing into that. He's a very savvy dude. Like I don't know if he legit doesn't like his dad, but like that is his storyline, and outside the ring, even with just like podcast stuff, he sticks to it. And he's got like the Eddie Guerrero classic old school Guerrero mullet going. Like he's making himself look like Eddie on purpose. He wrestles a lot like Eddie did. So at the very least, like he's making sure he makes a name for himself, not just like he's not trying to be Rey Mysterio Jr., which I have mad respect for. He's a good wrestler too, but he's like mad heely, and he's like full heel. Like he is on camera to be jeered at and disliked. But like it's one of those things where they might have just did the calculus on it, and like that might have just been his smartest move, or like anyone who's a legacy wrestler has to decide whether or not they want to be compared to their dad or not. You run into it with Goldust um, and Cody Rhodes, and like Cody's known as the American Nightmare, um, which is like obviously a play on American Dream, but also like a play. He's in the same lane in that he's very very American. Um, Goldust obviously like a very big departure, but at the same time, like Dusty Rhodes had a lot of weird sort of like I'm wearing gold polka dots today, like, and so Mysterio's kid is like definitely trying not to be like directly like I'm like my dad. Um, so he's Healy. He wears Heelys, but and he definitely has got a Guerrero style and vibe to him. But it could be deeply intentional. Oh, were they? I didn't know that. Ah, wrestling has gotten so much better with Vince McMahon gone. I'm sorry, but like Triple H at the helm is so categorically better. Look at that. It's a wrestling podcast now. So you go wherever we need to go. You find out you got wrestling fans in the crowd by the topic coming up. This thing is getting so shredded because there's so many spikes on this guy. Now, I may do another pass on removing some more grime off of these guys, but I want the first one to be like pretty light pull, especially because I started wrecking that first guy. But also like I ain't putting any of it back, so like leaving a decent chunk on in the first pass. Yeah, no, I don't want to. I mean, he's also like a fucking pig, and a bad person, but like he wrestling would have been in real trouble if he hadn't innovated after his father, and he was the right thing for that era. Uh, Pretty scummy dude, but the right thing for that era. But then his time had like pretty heavily passed. Like the whole like I'm bringing out my wife in a wheelchair thing was just like so tired. Like the writing had gotten better, and he didn't. And it was even like his daughter, you know, helming creative even before he had to step down. But now with Hunter on top, like I stopped watching wrestling for a while because it's just like, don't get me wrong, wrestling's always been about gimmicks, but like the gimmicks were just not interesting to me. No, someone has to play the bad guy. Like that's absolutely the case. Like healing is important, and by that I mean HeeLing. But like I don't need Vince McMahon to wheel his wife out in a wheelchair, um, and like flaunt sexy. It's like I don't care that much about Vince. That's the thing. Um, I think he tried to like be too much on the forefront, and it was good for a while. When Vince first became very, very public in the WWE universe, not just like the announcer ish guy, he was very good at it. And then I think he got too into it, and then you couldn't watch wrestling without like it being about him. And I just never, like, I just didn't care that much about him. I think he spent too much time on camera and then had to struggle to find, like, no matter what wrestlers were dominant and very present at the time, eventually it was just like, it was Vince and other people. And, like, that's just not that interesting to me. All right. I did do some additional metallics on these, and some of that came off. I think it was the brass, but it was over other metallics. That's why I'm seeing a difference. But this thing definitely 50 times better than super wheeling in there. Spots you can't reach with it, just kind of wiggle a little. Yeah, it was just like, it was too much Vince. That was the thing. I think Hunter having heart issues was super important because what he learned to do was like lead from the back finally, like not just come out there and yell at everyone whenever they do something wrong, which that was the part at which I was like, God, man, I'm so tired of you, Vince, of like it being a common thing for him to just run out from the back and like, cause he was, watching on screen and be mad at something for someone for something. It's like, just go away. Learn to manage. Here to watch wrestlers wrestler. Yes, I know you get in the ring and you take bumps, and I respect that, but too much Vince. Yep, he was good for a while, and then it was just oversaturation. I don't want to see the managerial. I mean, at one point, it was like, oh my God, everyone is like a middle manager now. Like, oh, this is getting boring. All right, let's see if we can clean this plate up. Just beat up paper towel. See what it gets off of here. Most of that green. Too much of a good thing. But obviously, like, he was getting some numbers with it for quite a while. I knew something was up. That plate. Something was working. Yeah. You got to adapt. And now, like, it's really interesting because as much as Vince tried to like walk this weird line of like, it's not a sport, so it doesn't need to be regulated. It's sports entertainment. He was still trying to hold, like kayfabe and all this other stuff. And now it's just like with Hunter at the helm, he literally just talks about wrestling for what it is. And he's totally fine with, not even fine, deeply promoting people doing like going on podcasts and talking about the business and talking about what they did last Sunday and like who called the match and all that stuff. So it's matured. Even if I haven't. All right, what other mumbo jumbo? I can work some more on this guy. That's what I could do. This guy's back. These guys need to be on a plate and drying, so I should put them back on their plate. They are just heapingly covered. Neutral spirit. But like you can see, well, show this guy. Like all the reds back through and stuff. They need to dry, and then I can put details on them. And part of that detail is going to be adding back in a little bit of metallic highlights in a few spots, which wouldn't hurt. Live and learn. I didn't think about that. Mama. All right. So, get myself a new paper towel to sort of squeegee off to, and Do another round of brushing on this guy. I'm going to do something a little yellow. Something yellowy green. Yeah, we'll try. Emerald Forest. Just use paints with the word forest, then everything will be fine. But it's cool because like I no longer have to like watch wrestling on TV, and I haven't in at this point decades. Um, but like I could catch most of what's going on just like off of Instagram, and Vince was never going to carry wrestling into that era. Never, 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 never. Just going nice and soft on here. Taking some care about where we park for a bit. Try to bring up some interesting skin folds and angles of stuff. Like this whole sagging thing right here needs to just get brightened up. We can leave some of the recessed spots untouched. And then after this pass, even lighter, something that's like straight up yellow. Or maybe a soft yellow. Might even go like a little bit of yellow and a little bit of gray or white. Really just bring up, just raise stuff. A little cooler on the bottom there. I gotta get in there though. Stay a little darker, but like this shoulder, if that's a shoulder, yeah, I guess it's sort of a shoulder. Have to pop a little bit. That's more of a shoulder. The tentacle color right now is Bugman's Glow, was just like a very heavy dry brushing. I use Bugman's for a lot of. I don't use Bugman's without a ton of stuff over the top of it, but baseline, it's really good for tentacles. It's actually good for faces if you're going to do a ton of passes of lighter stuff on it. Like if you're starting dark, it's really good. But it's like, it's dark enough where it's like, I mean, the reason it's Bugman's Glow is because like Bugman's is like a beer, I think. If I'm remembering my Blood Bowl lore. So it looks like someone is flushed. Let's switch into something yellow. Yellow and light. I want to go vivid volt. Space dust. Space dust. Maybe even lighter. Ice yellow. Yeah, it's good. Bugman's Glow is like, I've had Bugman's Glow for a while, and a lot of times it's like I'll just hit tentacles that I'm not specifically trying to go like a violety purple with. to go on there. Ugh. I've had these little bottles long enough where they're a little bit of a pain to get the paint out sometimes. It's all good. It is what it is. Some of that. Yes, my desk is finally filling up with random paints again. Add a little bit of gray to it. This hopefully be the really bring up some texture pass on the skin. Really does not want to get out of there. Weird. All right, now we dug into that bottle. Oh, yeah, it's just gloppy. Gloppy, gloppy. Which means, of course, now I have too much of it, but that's okay. I'm trying to mute out this yellow quite a bit. Adding gray to it. It'll still be very light. See how light-handed I can be with this. And maybe some more yellow in it. Yellowish. It's looking a little deady. Just go like extra around these guts. Make sure they sing. Right, singing guts, important. Top of his head, around the face. The jowls a bit. And I'll end up hitting the tongue a little bit with it, but that is bueno. Make sure these delicious pimples stick up. Boils. Wish we had some options and variations for building that model you're painting right now. The only it has a couple. Has a couple. I think this one's the best, but I think the box has like, it's not as varied as like Rodigus Great Unclean One, but the stomach guts could be stomach mouth. And there's 3 different heads you can pick. But yeah, slight differenter poses would have been good. So that I think the thing is there are options for it, they're just not that different. Yeah, I agree with you. I take it all back. I agree with you 100%. You're right. Was a good mystery / horror movie. Do you mean one or the other, or optimally one that like is a mystery and horror movie? Strangely enough, horror is not like something I'm not deeply versed in. Good mystery movie that might also be scary. Yeah, only the one arm pose. Yeah, that's true. Like as soon as I started saying it out loud, I was like, yeah, but like there's 2 different hands for that. But it's absolutely like stop the bus wave no matter what you do. There's 2 hands on the ground that you can pick from, but they're just different hands. No, you're right. Thank you for being the rubber ducky I talked to square myself up. I mean, like the ring isn't really a mystery. It's just that Some lady coming out of a TV. It might also be scary. I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. Like most movies that are legit scary aren't much of a mystery. Like they tend to be tropey. Hmm. Yeah, my only issue, I'm not worried too much about it. My only issue is that like I feel like someone is going to come out of the woodwork like Grot or Badger or Moth and be like blah blah blah, and I'll be like, wow, I've talked about that movie 20 times, like my third favorite movie of all time. That's what I'm worried about. Is that like I do know the answer to this, and I'm gonna feel like a dumbass for not thinking of it. I am not worried about. You should put me on the spot. I'm here. It's how you know. It's how you know I'm not an AI. Otherwise, I'd just be like, the movie you are thinking of is blah blah blah, and this year the blah 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 did the blah blah blah. Open Grave? Ah, I never saw it. Never saw it. Certainly sounds spooky. You know what? Let's try some Wazdaka Red. A bit scary, but a mystery. Nice. So you may have noticed with like the last few models that I've painted, like I'm sort of getting into this thing where like I wonder if I can get a heck of a lot done on my models by at least geography wise, doing a bunch of it as dry brushing in many layers and then using washes. Like I wonder how much I can get done doing that, and I wonder if the output of me doing that is actually better than a lot of the stuff that I normally do with like full paint ins with like wet brush. So we're trying some stuff out here. 7. Wait a second, you're answering your own question. In Fortnite canon? What's in the fucking box? Oh my god. Yeah, no, that would be the perfect example. God, that movie. It's good. Really good actors in it too. Alright, this I'm doing much, much more haphazardly to just bring up the redness factor, the max factor. But like you did it as an example, that would have been my answer. Because that one definitely is a mystery. And it's a wee bit scary. Oh man, that guy that's just like eats himself to death. So rough. So rough. What's in the fucking box? I enjoyed that movie very much. There you go. Answered your own question. GG. No re. No, it's like, it's redder. The tongue I'm just going to have to do wholesale. I'll have to figure some wash for the tentacles up here, but his body's going to get something even more yellow. Danger yellow. Maybe not. Everland Sunset. Yeah, I'll just do some of that so it looks like. Yeah, I mean, you want to tap into deep lore. I mean, I can tell you some of my favorite movies when I sort of land on. Um, I maintain that Big Trouble in Little China is the greatest film ever made. And then the next few are sort of a tie with each other. It would be like Tombstone, Miller's Crossing, maybe Shanghai Noon is in there a little bit. Probably throw Empire of the Sun in there. You mean Jack Burton, not Burt Jackson. Or is Burt Jackson like a special trucker mini? Like, it's just a riff on Jack Burton? Big Trouble in Little China is like so much more of a movie than it at times presents itself as. So good. And the humor in it's phenomenal. The mini's called it's called Burt Jackson. That's, I guess you're gonna duck and dodge. That's a pretty good one. All right, now we start getting into the serious yellow business. Now we're into danger color, but now is when it's going to start looking like sickly. I have to be a little careful with this. Yeah, there's some wet on the sides of this. Yeah, it's not. That's a little better. Now we're just being like mega gentle with this. Barely brushing it. That is that's awesome. I have to look that up. I'm gonna need that. Such a good movie. Ugh. It's like perfectly paced. Great mix of action and comedy. It's exceedingly creative, like in its writing. It is in some ways very, and in some ways not authentic to like a bunch of interesting lore stuff. So good. It's like, why is this guy the hero? Well, he's a trucker and he's a friend of this other dude. Like right place, right time kind of stuff. So now what we've got on this guy is like an eerie intersection of greens and soft yellows and like sunset yellows. Now it looks sickly. And I'm being pretty light with this yellow now. It's like, you know, basically like go in heavy with something. Going like medium like I did with that light yellow just to bring up a lot of the bits. And then this yellow just kind of makes them like, adds a general level of unhealth to the whole model. I think I only dipped the brush like once. You need very little paint to make it go. Yeah. And you just let the model itself sort of determine, you know, based on where the texture is, where the blending is going to go. And for sickly things like nurgly stuff, it works well. And then you naturally get like, you know, some little dark areas there and some raised stuff here. I hit these little spikes on the side a little more assertively, just because the shape language around that's kind of nice. And then for the most part, all I'm really going to do, I'm going to hit this with a wash eventually, but like these boils, I'll just like hand paint. The little spines on the back, I'll hit those up. So very little things. The face I'll go nuts on. The guts I'll go nuts on. You know, these like little holes here, but I haven't had to like slow run a brush over all the geometry. And I think this looks better than what I normally do, so huzzah. I'm gonna leave Averland Sunset out. It's the underrated Nurgle color. It's just like so like mustardy that if you paint boils with this stuff, it's just like, ugh. And if you paint this underneath, it's a really strong paint too. You paint this underneath what you're going to do like effect stuff with, like anything fluorescent, anything that is like snot or vomit or whatever. This stuff underneath it makes it just look like, ugh. Yeah. It's dope. All right, now we need something to do basically the same thing with the tentacle hair that we did with this yellow. Something that is a little bit, a lot color contrasty, but it's not going to have a ton of it. Something that's light. So it might be like a light blue here. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we got. Could be a light blue. Could be... I do have a lot of blues that I never use. Could be... Could be a light purple. I have blue horror. I do have Ethereum blue. Then the purple, pink's too close. Pink's too close. Lucius lilac. Cacophony purple's probably. I think I gotta use a blue. Maybe Demonette Hide. I'll do Demonette Hide. Do that with it. And I'll have to lighten it up a little bit, but I've still got gray sitting on ye old piece of craft board that I use for dry brushing, so should be all right. Give this guy a little dip in there. Find a clean spot. Add some white to it. Mix it up, smush it into the brush. Oh my god, that thing is soaked. Oh. Try this again. Too much in the roots. Speaking of in the roots. I should put that, yeah, oh, you should know, not only you, Sharp, but everyone else. That weird guy, Main Goon, that's actually my other profile. I did see it. That was me who commented on it. I have 2 Discord accounts because what I do for like business, I'm over on this other one. But then I like allows me to dip back and see that tower is sick. The fact that it's all magnetized is pretty rad. I love it. And it's like it's pretty small. It's very carryable to where you're going. Yeah, we're doing all kinds of stuff, man. Good to see you, Centerfold. It's been a bit. I've been being more consistent with being on here. A little easier to find. Yeah, so basically like that's my go on entertainment persona. So when I'm sitting around making video games all day, that's me. But then it does allow me to just easily, without having to constantly switch accounts, go back and forth. I need a towel because this thing's going to be horribly unclean. Mustardy glop. Averland Sunset does clean off of brushes kind of okay, though. Alright, I think this brush is dry enough to try to use it as a dry brush again. Yeah, we're working on this dude tonight. That's not blue enough. I do need a blue. Alright, so be it. Ethereum blue, which I don't think I've ever used. I've got this rescue model that I threw a bunch of basing material on, so you'd have a bunch of like dirt texture on them. I've got good stretch. Got some Plague Marines that I streaking green grimed. Those guys are drying right now. I have a couple other lieutenants floating around that I may get to tonight because I probably won't do too much more on this guy. Posted a whip, show and tell just now, but it maybe will work in cessation because I keep. Okay, cool. Oh, actually, I'm going to switch my camera over here to this dicey. This is the thing we're talking about. Duh. Didn't realize I hadn't switched the camera. Pretty awesome. So it folds up like this, all magnetized. 6 across. Got a nice bag to carry it in. And then that is that's your dice tower. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I want one. Show and tell what we got. Oh, Ron. Is this 30K Ron? He's a pretty mean looking dude. Yeah, breaking bits off is rough. Like some of the models are just made from cults. Yeah, okay, sweet. That makes sense. Yeah, because in the Horus Heresy version of him is like him kind of normal, right? It's like pre anything. What a cool axe. Skulls of little children. I mean, it looks good so far, but who knows how many bits it'll still have by the time you close in on being finished. I do like the hunched over model from Games Workshop, and I think I will tackle it someday, but I have seen it. Oh, that's right. The stuff is so loafy. Marshmallow. I have seen it so much that, like, for that model alone, I'm kind of like, I'm probably not doing World Eaters for a bit. I've seen so very much of that Angron model. All right, this now. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, here we go. Now we've got some. It's a little heavy right now. Clear some of it out, but like this is contrasty. I should have done this a bit lighter, but I kind of like how beefy it is. I think the brush is just a little wetter than I anticipated, but now we've got tentacular action. Crazy chaos. I do find it fitting that you have to replace a few of Angron's teeth. It seems apropos. He seems like a guy who spits teeth out pretty regularly. All right, So now, at least we've got a lot of like color transition going on. Lightened up the tentacles a bit. The lilac plus purple, pretty nice. I think he'd grow new ones like a shark. You're probably right. It's probably got several rows. It seems on point. All right, let's do some brush cleanup. My isopropyl bath is very mustard yellow right now. Swizzle in the water. Corner's probably like the military. You can't get new teeth, so you break them all. Your teeth are U.S. Army property. All right, so I can set this guy. I mean, he's like, he ain't damp because it's all dry brushing. We got a little tack to him. He still needs to cure. We gotta let that happen. Which means I'll probably come back to doing metallics and other fiddly little things on these guys. I got some brass. Probably need a new dish of bronze. We'll just keep trucking. Obviously, I worked a little bit on the warp breath. This guy. I don't think I need too much bronze. We'll see. If I need more, I need more. Realistically, even with how much bronze I use, that tube's going to last me a couple of years. Grab some of my dirty white spirit. The thing that I clean my brushes out of. Reactivate the brass in a bit. Send this stuff out. Get to it. Basically, I just thin it out until it doesn't have any more chunks in it. Do it by eye. It does dry out on the plate a little bit, so every so often you're sort of going back, but you're continuously like rinsing the brush in white spirit, so you're getting a little bit back in here, but it doesn't dry fast. It reactivates fast. Scarbrand does need some teeth. I love that, but I still got that guy. I still got to finish that guy up. But like that, like he definitely took a shot to the face, and got donked, lost some teeth. Finally, a Nurgle sorcerer. It's been a while. Mine's close. Like, my Scarbrand is in very near to done shape. All I've got is more metallics to do on him. And I think it's just mostly waist down stuff like all that pro wrestler belt gold and things like that. But he's very, very close. This knee, I gotta be super careful when I spin this around. I don't break that off. This knee, I might actually loosen this up quite a bit. treat it like a wash. Did the bug on here already. Brass, yeah, now I can just tap around it. This stuff very thinned out. Just let it creep in where it needs to go. Washy style. And as I get further away from the spot I'm trying to avoid, then I can thicken it up. Just be mindful of how much dampness there is in there. Don't go too far with it. It'll probably get finished in a second pass. Yeah, I don't want to push that around too much. Ooh. Might not even need a second pass. Washiness might have done it. Might have done it. He said, I think I could take you, Dad. And his dad slapped him and showed who's the boss. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I made you, I could break you. Don't forget who's in charge here. Gotta worry about that cape too. I have a very, very sinking feeling that none of this guy's capes are going to survive very long once I start putting them on the table, or even if they're going to make it to the table. So flimsy. We're beaten up so much. Super flimsy. I mean, two of them are already broken, so some of this will just be purely a matter of how patient I am. With caring about repairing them, or if I just start ripping pieces off because I'm freaking tired of it. Kept saying I cast Floofy Poof. Yeah, the execution on him is really weird. I've seen one version of him where they snipped this off and they actually attached that to his face where it's going, whoof. Even then, I think this model's corny. Genuinely corny. And that's either like endearing if you like it, or just corny if you don't. And I think to me right now it's just corny. I'm happy to be able to field him so I can have somebody else with some psychic attacks floating around as a threat. But it is kind of a goofy sculpt, and it doesn't. I'm not sold on it. This may be one of those sculpts where I have to actually put him on the table before I respect him, and then I'm like, well, he's cool, he's fine. So I'll have to do something pivotal in an actual match. I think it looks kind of doofy. Kind of very doofy. Slippage there. Yeah, be careful. Careful. Heroes Wizard? What? What do you mean? Oh, you. Oh, I am sorry. Yeah, you mean the Plague Marine Heroes? That version? Yeah, and I think that's why everyone wanted that one so badly, and why they restricted it so freaking much. It's just patently a cooler sculpt. Sorry, I wasn't with you there for a second. My brain was catching up. Yeah, I think you're right. But, I want people to take risks with the sculpts they make. And I am painting it right now. And can't all be bangers. And he is one excellent dice roll away from finding a special place in my heart. But right now, he's just finicky wheels. It's like nailed on, super flimsy Cape crab. You seem a bit impractical, lad. I like the. So here's the thing. I actually do like the face because it's so like doughy and unique. Like I find the face itself endearing in the way. Who's the Terminator champion guy with the funky name? The big smiley dude who's like, and he's got glop hanging off of his hand. Like that guy, similarly doofy, but like in an endearing way. The face I don't mind on this. The fact that there's like this weird yawning space and like how the magic is sort of coming off of his hand and like these things are kind of weird. I don't know. He to me feels like a bunch of different Death Guard aesthetic things kind of crammed in and someone like trying to do too many different things at once. The staff is nice. The face is cool. But like he's got so many elements on him. It's almost too much. I agree though. The face is a highlight. Oh, what the what? Stop the presses. Badger's been dropping stuff incognito. All right, that's hot. You got the yellow undies on. I fucking hate Cyclops. Almost with a passion. Which is good, because I think I'm supposed to hate him. However, this dude on the left, 100% love him. Cyclops, you'd be so much cooler if you were a mech with rockets coming out of your chest. So much cooler. The whole like, I'm the leader, and like, I don't like this thing, like, and like the weird visor thing. Like, I think it's kind of neat that he's got to wear a visor because his eyes naturally just like blast the universe away. But like, I'm a huge Wolverine F it all, like I do what I want fan, and so I'm not supposed to like this guy. And I think he's good for that. In the same way like Erebus is one of my favorite characters because I don't like him. Like Cyclops is that for me. He's so terribly boring to me. That said, like the actors that have played him in the movies, I think have done a phenomenal job of playing him how he's supposed to be. I don't think he's poorly written. I don't think he's been poorly acted. I don't think he's been poorly portrayed in the comics, but I can't stand his personality. Yeah, drop that in there real quick. Drop that in the Ultramarines Reddit. Maybe that's the problem. He's very Ultramarine like. However, this lad on the left, primo. So I used a lot more brass on this guy. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to bronze the sensors because he's a space wizard, a fancy lad, and like a lieutenant. I'm brassing up his iconography a bit. Not that any of this is going to stay attached to the fucking model, but giving him some more shiny spots, especially because the color scheme on these guys is much darker than what I did. On that route, they got dunked. How would I want my X gene to present itself? That's a good question. And way better than, like, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? I know it's a very similar question, but it's a way better question. I think I would want. I wouldn't want something like too crazy aesthetically mutative. Like I've got hollow bird wings, or I got purple skin or blue fur. I think most people probably say that, but I would want something that looked off. I guess is my point. Like I wouldn't want to be in cosplay all day, but like having like a Magnus eye or something like that might be cool. And then as far as actual powers go, that's tough. Um, I think when I was younger, I probably wanted to be some like psychic BS, and I mean BS in like the good way, where you get to cheat on everything because you know something other people don't know. But I think as I get older, I think like a pretty crazy healing factor might be my jam. Of like the ability to take greater, if not absurd, risk without it being as risky starts sounding more and more cool to me the older I get. Even if I didn't have like super strength and like combat training paired with it. Like you can get that training, and arguably, if you heal fast, you could leverage that in the training pretty thoroughly. It's a little aggressive, whatever. All right, clean the brush up, get some brass. Oh yeah, he's smoothing right out again. There's some lunchtime wax dried in a little dish. Add some spirit to it. Back in flipping business. Like when I say this guy has just like too much, like the number of flies on this guy is just like, man, he's trying to like mad overachieve. Whoever designed this sculpt was like, if there's a thing, give him 8 of them. Or 7, maybe? I don't know. Maybe there's a count. I bet it's not 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's way higher than 7. I jam on multiple man. Multiple man just like piles of doppelgangers. Moth, you just help yourself at work. I don't know if that's a good choice for you. No, you'd be super diplomatic. I bet you'd be super diplomatic about it, where like on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, one of you goes to work, and on Tuesday, Thursday, and like Saturday, the other one goes to work, so that one of them can sit home and paint, and you just like very diplomatically just go back and forth. Oh, is it more than it's more than two? So it's like many multiples? Oh yeah, no, that you 100%. Yep, yep. You would absolutely have so many jobs. Like the old school in Living Color joke with the Jamaican dad is like, "How many jobs you got?" Yeah, you'd be working everywhere, man. Though the possibility of living many lives and being able to like experience many things and then bring them all back together is very like tasty. Like the ability to try without worry of failure so many things, like, I wonder what would happen if I just like saved up some money and like went to art school. All right, well, give it a shot, see what happens. And have it still be you. There's something there. My biggest enemy, just the IRS. Well, so here's the thing though. Like, and this is a very interesting, it's like the argument for communism, but it doesn't work unless they're all you. But in this case, they are all you, so maybe it does. Um, you still all of the yous still have expenses. They still all have to eat. They still need heat and whatever in the cold. And so there's like some complication there, but your ability to consolidate your own resources being earned by all the yous for the greater good of all the yous when they are all yous is like how communism could actually functionally work. Like the biggest problem with communism is that every last person in there has personal interests that are in conflict with everyone else. But if you just got more bodies working the big agendas, then like, okay, well, like, why can't you just sit at home and paint all day? Well, it's because you got kids and you're married and you got bills and you got this and that. But it's like, all right, but if part of you can do that, but do it every day, that's fine. And if there's some way to sort of repopulate across all the U's the experience of having done that, then one of you doesn't work. One of you handles recreation. Meanwhile, another one of you is like, hey, uh, you know, I'm gonna go make this money. But buying anything in bulk is like tends to be a big saving. All of you like the same food, which means all the food you're buying is in bulk. You'll all be pretty satisfied with the same car, so you just share it. One of you has got a dead end job that's worthy of complaining about that is in opposite hours of the first one. So now two guys sharing one car. And yeah, you're putting twice as much mileage on it. But for that time in use, just need one car. Oh, here comes the despot with a pile of people. Breach the gates. Yes. The gates were down the whole time. Welcome, folks. Just chilling out doing more and more Death Guard BS. Depot, it's great to see you, buddy. What are you swinging in from? Kind of madness. Dude, you saw those new models, man, right? Those new Spicy Wolves. Well, I asked you that the last time you were here. They look good. They look good. Not enough to convert me, but they look good. The stream was pure madness. Am I not surprised, Depot? I've always been a child of chaos. Masquerading. Do anything fun? Try to drown me in hydrates? That's pretty cool. I dig that. All right, let's loosen up some gunmetal. So you just got to bring out the bottle of bourbon and just go till you fall asleep. You hit that like old man snooze. Too much booze. And then the stream's still running. You're just like lean back in the chair, chin down. All right, let's reactivate this mumbo jumbo. There's gunmetal in here somewhere. It's all in there. Custom jump pack, Captain. Sweet. I trust you're quite well hydrated. You probably need to take a massive bathroom break right now. Don't let me stop you if you do. Appreciate the raid, but if you ingested 8 gallons of water, don't be afraid to run. Yeah, I think that's my problem with this model. It's just like it's overdone. I was the one who tried drowning him. I love it. Stuff like that's funny. Like the unforeseen consequences of what seems like a very deeply benign points expenditure. You know, the classic case of like, well, too much of any good thing will kill you. Like too much water and you drown. It's like ding 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 ding. What are you up to these days? 'Cause you've been out there crushing it, man. You're like big deal in it. Oh, metal wax, how I love thee. Woof. Woof. Right now I'm working on some commission project giveaways, painting all the prize models for this paint. Yeah. Busy as a bee, if not busier. Trying to finish building my son's orc arm. Yeah. Mecha May. Ugh. I have anything for Mecha May. I mean, I don't know, maybe a fetid bloat drone counts. It is not unlike Hot Girl Summer. It's Death Guard Spring for me right now. But yeah, like you gotta be pretty close on those orcs for your son. Are you up against the gun? He's like up against the gun. Yeah. He's he's coming back soon, ain't he? Or is he already back? Haven't checked in on that timeline in a while. He was out missioning it up, right? I'm someone 26 days. Oh, so you got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Good. You're being a responsible adult by cranking on it, even though it's not due tomorrow. I like that, Depot. I could aspire to be so responsible. I like the cut of your jib. 10 boys and a war boss? Yeah, that's not that bad. Like, and fun painting. Oh, back to brass tacks. Just dancing around. Doing metallics. This guy's just got way too many different weird things on him. Way too many flies. He's an overachiever. Just trying to get Nurgle's attention. Brass flies everywhere. Sensors everywhere. Bits of cloth everywhere. So much of it just breaks off. This guy's kind of a dick. A lot of guts. I need to grab some white or some light gray for a bit and work on. He's got teeth and guts that I got to bring up a bit in value. Brother Bear is Blood Angels or Eldari a better start army. Neither is as good as Death Guard, but I think I would probably go Blood Angels. If you say a starter army, the things that I would consider important about that are like, am I going to get some like consistent reps in and also get like a decent amount of variety? And I'm not super versed in Eldari BS, but I think learning to paint Space Marines is like a more translatable thing and more likely to be repeated. And no matter what, if it's the first army you're painting and going to play, learning how Space Marines play is important even if you don't stick with them. I would say Blood Angels. That would be the calculus. Now, am I the right person to answer that question? Probably not. But Blood Angels, I also just think are kind of cool. And everyone should have a different opinion on that one, I think. I'm also like, Space Elves are just not my jam. You're going Salamanders first, Death Guard second. I can support that. As far as loyalist stuff goes, and I'm pretty thin on it, or as far as Space Marine loyalist stuff goes, I got some Sisters of Battle because they're neat and extreme. I got some AdMech because they're quirky, but Salamanders would probably be my choice. I like them. Seem like decent guys. I like their aesthetic a lot. But I am pretty chaotic, and Death Guard's kind of my favorite of that. Death Guard gives you all kinds of like just wild, crazy experiences of different stuff going on in the same model. I mean, if you look at this guy, it's like I'm painting Ceramite, a bunch of metallic stuff on there. They're keeping mouth with a pile of guts coming out of it. He's got weird warp crap going. He's got cloth on him. He's got weird hooked talon foot thing going on. Like it's a zoo on this model, and I love that. None of these models are boring. This one is too busy, and I think it's the only Death Guard model I've said that about. This model itself is a rescue also, but this model is too freaking busy. But even then, you get to do a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, you have good taste. If you're going salamanders and then Death Guard, you're in the right mind. Though when you throw the choices for your fiance up in the air, only complication, it's not a big one. It's not like submarines the idea. Is you're probably going to play against each other a bit, I would hope. And having two loyalist Space Marine armies, even if you're starting small with like combat patrol, maybe that's not as much fun as it could be, having like one of them be chaos and one of them be space elves or whatever. So that's the only thing that I would consider an addition. Is that y'all are kind of stuck with each other in a good way. And if you're very commonly going to be the other person's opponent, maybe double loyalist Space Marines is a little dicey. But if you know you're going to like get into it and just like start with salamanders, Death Guard right after it, that probably doesn't matter much. All I'm doing is adding a very, very light gray on this model on all the spots that shouldn't start from black or that dark green that's underneath there. Anything like bones sticking out. Just getting them. And I'm not painting them like full coverage. You could probably just split a jumbo Space Marine box. I don't even know what they do. Is there like a mega box that's like 2 combat patrol sized? You could. There's an argument there, but like if it's 2 people as close as like fiancés, I veer away from the like solid bargain argument a little bit. That's awesome though. Like it's funny. Like as soon as you're like, "Hey, we're going to our LGS tomorrow," I'm just gonna look around and decide. I love going to stores and just like ogling at stuff. Like I was pretty sure I was going Death Guard when I got started a couple years ago, but it was the moment in the store when I was there that like really sealed it. And I was just like looked at what was in front of me and I was like, "Yep, this is what I'm doing." Shopping's fun. I know. I thought about that for a second. Chaos and Lead. I was like, you don't fucking know either, buddy. Your point is well made, but yes, who knows? Who knows if there's a mega box? Who do I think I'm talking to? All right, boss. Have fun at the store. Buy some Poxwalkers. You're gonna need them eventually. All right, I can go back to my metallic wax painting doohickey. Let's brush. Dedicated to this craft now. Wax metallic stuff. Good little synthetic brush. I see some spots that I'm going to bronze in. So a lot of times when I look at a model, like it's interesting because his arms are both up, so his palms are faced back. I think he needs more bronze on his proverbial backside. I think about how much of like which colors are there, which ones are accents, which ones are not. Just so that even if you squint your eyes or let them blur, there's just enough stuff going on. So not necessarily like crazy details, but like those little icons that are brass, those are there specifically to have like some big shine pop out of it intermittently. What I don't like is the back of his legs. Thankfully, if this thing stays attached, it sort of helps there, but sort of the thought process I have as I'm going through, like, where do I need to add more until I feel like it's done? A lot of times it's like, I just hold the thing back and look at it. Fell asleep in my chair. Yeah. Go get that nap time. Bedtime for Bonzo. Found another little spot that I gotta hit with some gray. Sectrix, it's not even late for you, man. You are a napper. Napping like a boss. Fell asleep dreaming of Death Guard. Just burnt out. Yeah, well, you know. Naps are good. Your body knows when you need some rest, man. As you get older, it starts getting more demanding, less optional. I am going to, let's thin this out a bit. I am going to get a little lightning on the face here. I did. We talked about Cyclops for a bit. I don't like Cyclops, personally. I like the mechanized version of him a lot more. Give me a random color. Do you mean like a paint color specifically that you might actually have on hand? Galverbach red. It's actually a pretty good one. I like this color. Cyclops is too goody two shoes, but if he had missiles coming out of his chest, it'd be way cooler. I think that was the quote. I do like the models you did. And then somewhere the calculus quote of Cyclops is the Erebus of the X-Men universe came out. I think you did a great job. The models look great. Um, and like I love themed stuff like that a ton. And so like my first seeing of either of them is seeing them next to each other. Pretty awesome. There's this gal on Instagram. She goes by Betchen Gretchen, and she has like some really awesome Dune themed Drukari, I think they are. Gotta be Drukari. And like stuff like that, it's just like makes me so happy. I thought the yellow looked really good. It take 40 layers to get it. Get it that yellow. It's pretty crazy yellow. I'll grant you that, friend. Right now I'm just adding a little bit extra of this gray in spots that'll be highlighty later. Just a slight little extra layer on some spots. Let this guy dry for a bit. All right, buddy, what do you need? You still need some bronze, but you are getting there. Now, this guy's kind of extra. It's a bit extra, but like it's not 8 million different things. He's got the big sensors hanging off of him. His theme is bells. He doesn't just have 14 of the tiny bell hanging off him, so he gets a pass on all the stuff I was complaining about. For show. Let's get back to some bronzing. That worked. We may proceed. Did I go over? I don't think I went over. I'm good. There, I went over. But I'm still good. Little dangerous painting in there. Don't want to hit that wooden shtick coming out of there. Can't really paint it blind. Just have to go nice and slow. There's a little fly there. I gotta get him. Be back in 1 minute. 2 coats of barbarian flesh before doing 2 to 3 coats of Viejo deep yellow. Still needs more. Yellow's always tough. Always tough. I do like barbarian flesh, though. I'm a big fan of that very specific paint. Just keep it chill. Spin this a little bit. Yeah, that bell doesn't quite hit that post. We're safe. I still have to brown that up. Oh, this guy's covered in so much tree. The Lorax that he is. Still got more on this pauldron to do. There we go. Did I get it? I got it. Yes. Oh, yes. I think we're going to switch to gunmetal because this guy got a mad amount of chains on him. Wild amount of chains. Still need doing. Nope, needs more juice in it. Send you back out. Stir, 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 stir. Go back in business. Revitalized. So many chains. This guy must have like so much back pain. Big ass bell hanging off of him. Mega branch. It's probably like 80 pounds of wood hanging off of this poor SOB. And he's got all these sensors. This guy's movement stat should be like 3. Question is, do I bronze or brass up his helmet? I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. We'll hold off there. Couple of these Plague Marines and Lieutenant guys, I italicized their helms and it looks good. I just don't want to do it a ton. I think on this guy he's got enough trinkets and gewgaws and baubles. He's probably fine. Plasma gun, gunmetal. Make sure I don't get his fingers. Get underneath it. Going back to bronze. No, we got more chains. We got mad chains. Oh, we got the handle of this other bell that he's straight up holding on to. Sneaky in there. Nice and gentle. Eek. Finger. Oh yeah, that's a good handle. It's got like a spike pommel. No one's ever gonna see. Just gonna care about it for a few minutes and then I'll put this guy on the table and never see it. But it's an important detail and it's there. I like it. What next? I did say probably some browns and whites. Get all racial about it, but I think that's what's next. Oh, you know what? I should probably white up that Nurgling a little bit so I'm not trying to come up from pure black background. Brush. Thin this stuff. Skulls on his armor are going to actually be metal, so I'm going to leave them. Or actually, they're probably just going to be green. Leave them ceramite. That is enough. Just get this knee, a little bit more of his arm, a little bit lighter. Oh, his little digits up there too. Doot, doot. That way, when I come back and put some actual skin on him, it won't take like 48 coats to just get it up from black. Thumb and a little wrist. There we go. None too shabby. This guy is not getting a crazy grime wash. Add a little bit of this light gray over here underneath this gun, or to this plasma gun. Get it popping a little bit. Not a ton, but I'm here with the paint already. Might as well lighten that up. Go. There we go. Get a little bit. Just a little highlight spot on here. And next I'll just hit that with a bunch of browns. Have a little, couple highlight lines underneath. Yeah, yeah. Do that right now. What was I using? I was using dryad bark. Yeah, dryad bark. I think I was dry brushing it on there, and I think I should probably do the same thing. I have wonders about whether or not it's going to be dry enough, but we may just get some free blending out of the deal. Oh yeah, dryad bark. You're so like, ugh. Almost like a brownish or a bluish brown, excuse me. Something deep and murky in it. And I like. I think that was XV88 that went over it. It's the nice thing about painting in sequential days, you actually remember some of the crap you did. Not always that lucky. It's a little dark. Yeah, grab a little bit more. Brush remnants. There we go. Now we're getting into XV88 territory. All right, that at least matches a wee bit. Now go with a second pass. Pretty light. Just try to hit some of barely raised little spots. A little bit stronger. A little bit at a time. Grab a little bit of fresh paint. I want the paint itself to be kind of thick. The amount of contact to be pretty low. That's good. I threw down a coat of deep red purple on my chaos spawn now. Ball red. Or I mixed it closed. I'm very unfamiliar with ball red. Yes. Galver Bach red, yes. Now I remember. It's getting late for both of us, and you know the whispers of the warp always calling. Hard to stay coherent. All right, so that wood looks all the same, which is good. Clean this brush. I do like XV88 a lot. Is it 88? It is, yeah. It's like a really interesting, sandy, still Dijon-y, mustardy kind of thing. Back on bronze. And I may go over this little section with a little bit of brass on the arrows. We'll see. See how I feel about it. Once I get this first coat on here. That's a little messy, buddy. Be gentle. There you go. I love reds. I do love reds. They put in a lot of work. Bronze there. Keep spinning this guy around. Finding more bits to paint. We're getting there, though. Ah. It's a fly. That means we're back on brass. You know what? I'm going to pull out the Bugman's Glow again. Brass this up a little bit while I'm here. Fly. It's a bit heavy, buddy. Nah, we'll just leave it. Just leave it. Put Bugman's on that little nurgling. I'm definitely meandering at this point. I'm just kind of like waltzing around, picking different things, painting them for a second. I'm moving on to something else. Which means I'm getting tired. Which means I'm not long for this world. Even though it's relatively early. I did not get as much sleep as I should have last night. It was my own damn fault, thankfully. I didn't have trouble sleeping. I just kept on rocking. Big weekend plans. I do have big weekend plans. Maybe not crazy, but a buddy of mine that I've known since forever is going to be in town for the AC/DC show. So I'm going to get lunch with him. I'm driving my daughter tomorrow to archery. It was good to hang out with the folks there. It's basically at a rifle club that's right down the street. Which is funny because like it's very common for me to hear gunfire when I'm just sitting outside here. But I know all those cats there. They're good dudes. Despite the dusty picture of Ronald Reagan on the wall in that place, they're all cool dudes. So get to hang out with them a little bit. My 14-year-old does archery, and then Sunday, my wife's got a thing with a friend. So Sunday it's like whole day with the kids, hanging out. We'll do some gardening. A lot of our plants are starting to sprout, which means it's time to put another round in. So we get sort of a staggered amount of different vegetables. And it's still a little early for Kira to understand gardening. Like we went out and looked at some of the plants tonight, and she like, whoop, I was like, look, the tomato plants are this big, and she just like yeeted one out of the ground. I was like, you don't want to do that. It's dead. Like, no more tomato. But Ruby, who's 4, she gets it, and so like the day by day progress of plants is a really big thing, and she's very excited to do yard work. I'm psyched about. I might mow the lawn. Look at these big plans for this old man. I might mow the lawn this weekend. That's big old man stuff. It'll be the first lawn mowing of the season. So to answer your question, it's one big constant party for me this weekend. I'm gonna see a friend, hang out with my kids, and work in my yard. Nothing but irresponsible, freewheeling. You say the weather breaks. What kind of weather you been having? Has it just been raining on you? You getting dunked? The last couple days here have been absolutely beautiful. It's super nice. All right, this guy is at least base coated. Coated or coated. I think that's where I'll take a pause. Weather app said it was just going to be cloudy today. Had to hit Walmart. Praise be. Told my youngest we'd park it up afterwards. Yeah, hit the park is a big bargaining chip for good behavior. Yeah, it's fun taking the kids to the park. They go nuts. We went to Walmart for 15 minutes max. Came outside, the sky was like nothing. Dude, when the roofers were doing my roof, man, it went full for a brief period of time for about 15 minutes. It went full on Wizard of Oz music. Like beautiful day out. Then right as evening came, it was like big dark clouds came over, wind started blowing, some like rain sideways. These poor guys are just like still up on the roof, and then like 15 minutes later, it just was gone, cleared up again. Mother Nature does not mess around. All right, gang, I'm gonna sign off. I'll probably put in a solid 20 minutes of Oblivion and do some gummy worm eating, and then I'm going straight to sleep. I'm gonna sleep like the dead. It's gonna be fantastic. Hopefully, I'll see y'all again at some point this weekend. If not tomorrow night, then Sunday. All y'all have a good one, and